So Andre, I'm gonna just go straight into it. In fact, yeah. I'm gonna ask you a question. I probably already know the answer to this. Who's the
You're
best wrestler in the
watching
middleweight division in the UFC
Calfkicksports
right now?
You're looking at him. Come on.
Was like so? Just kind of leads into the next one. So I saw a lot of footage of you recently, kind of calling out Bo Nickal. Um, you know, have you guys tried to set up that fight, or is he just completely avoiding you? You mentioned he's been avoiding you for the longest now. What's the situation with that? Generally
So
speaking?
originally, his manager reached out to Rob Haydack with Fury.
Yeah,
He wanted to do the Fury grappling, and they gave my name forward, and for whatever reason, he said no. Right, and I think the first time he said no is because he wanted more money. Right, so then we asked for him again, and he said no. I don't know if it was because of the timeline or not. And then I posted something, and he messaged me, and I was like, look, if you want to grapple, we can do no leg locks, and
yeah,
I'm not gonna hurt you, and he was like, oh, no one's worried about me getting hurt, blah blah blah. He's like, I'm not grappling for peanuts. And I was like, all
yeah.
right, that's fair. I was like, look, I was like, what did you just? I was like, I guarantee you, I can get you paid more than you just made on your Contender Series fight. And he was, and I was like, I was like, I'll get you more than what you got on your Contender Series fight. I can guarantee you that. And then, of course, he was like, well, you got to talk to my manager then, which is like code for I'm gonna deflect to him.
Man, and it's so odd of but like he's acting like he's the A side here, but
Right.
he's fighting a bunch of debutantes in the UFC. You're fighting guys in the top 20s and top 15 here, right?
Right.
Anyway, Ash, go ahead here.
No, so I mean, do you feel like it's quite disrespectful? He comes out saying, "I'm just a lot better than every single middleweight off the bat." Do you think he's kind of getting special treatment from the UFC just immediately?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, as expected, obviously he brings a lot of eyeballs, and I mean, yeah, for sure. He's picking. Obviously, they don't want him to fight anyone with grappling. He's fighting all strikers.
So you've got a fight coming up, yeah, with Gerald Meerschaert at UFC 292. How's the prepping coming for the upcoming fight? And I know you can't bet on yourself right now, but if you were to kind of predict the finish, you have to bet on yourself. What would the outcome be? Do you reckon, Andre?
I think either first or I absolutely would bet. I would make the same bet I did against Maximov, which is either first or second round submission. Now, that's not me underestimating Meerschaert. I think that he has beaten tough guys, and his resume speaks for itself. But I think stylistically, it's the perfect matchup for me.
Man, and it's a big win. You're going to be fighting a guy that it's a must-win situation here for you as well. But with a victory, you're probably cracking into the top 15, top 10 here. Is there someone afterwards that you want to call out or have your eye on in the middleweight division?
Yeah. I mean, I won't mention any names, but if it's not Bo Nickal next, I definitely want a top 15 guy, top 15, top 20. But yeah, I study everyone. I watch everyone up there,
Yeah. I heard you actually mentioned, you'd love to fight Chris Weidman in November potentially.
Dude, that'd be a dream come true. That'd be Christmas coming early.
How do you think that goes down, you and Chris Weidman? I mean, obviously he's got the fight with Brad Tavares. He's gonna leg kick him the first. He's gonna. What he said is the first strike he's gonna land is gonna be a leg kick against Tavares just to test his leg. So, I'm hoping he's okay after the fight. But if that goes ahead, how do you think that goes between you guys?
I love that. I you know what I mean? I was an amateur when I wasn't even fighting when he beat Anderson Silva, right? I was still in college.
Wow.
And then when he beat him the second time, I think I might have been getting ready for my first fight. And then when he fought Rockhold, I think I was like going into my, so like I've watched this guy, you know what I mean, since I was basically a kid. So like, absolutely. You know what I mean? Like those are the kind of fights I want for sure. Not to mention we're both two East Coast guys, New York and Pennsylvania, New York and Philly. So, you know, obviously they're going back to New York in November, and then the rumor has it that they might be back in Jersey in December. So, I mean, that's two East Coast guys coming up. Like, what more can you ask for?
And what people don't see, what people seem to forget is Chris Weidman, for a very short period of time, he was on the running to being a legend, like an absolute legend. Before he was, you know, he beat Lyoto Machida, he beat Vitor Belfort, he beat Anderson Silva twice as well. You know, he was on the way, man.
Grappling matches with Galval.
Yeah.
I mean, no doubt. Well, Chris Weidman's a legend. Like, I mean, I would say Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, difficult, but just the upset victory against Anderson Silva alone, unbelievable. You know,
that is crazy though that he broke his leg the exact same way. It's such a like God is just fucking with us. God is like, okay, like you know what I mean. What goes around comes around.
Man, MMA is an insane sport, full of heartbreak, like full of the highest highs, lowest lows. But let's look forward a little bit here in the rest of the middleweight division. You got your eyes on everyone. So we had a couple of announcements today. So I want to know what your thoughts on a couple of fights going on in the middleweight division here. Khamzat Chimaev, a ranked welterweight, will be facing off against a top 5 Paulo Costa later this year. What do you make of the matchup?
I mean, I think Khamzat destroys it.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Even with the size discrepancy, I mean, you know,
they both got to weigh the same amount. You know what I mean? They might be
that's true.
Out of camp. Paulo might be way bigger, but he can't be that big. You know, he's got to weigh in 24 hours before. I just think that Khamzat's grappling is, from what I've seen, levels above Paulo Costa's. To be honest, everywhere. Like, his striking's better, I can't say Paulo Costa has an advantage in any area of fighting besides being bigger. That's it.
Do you think that fight happens? Because we were speaking off air just a few minutes before you came on, and I was even saying I don't think that's going to happen, man. Those guys have just been pulling out fights left, right, and center recently. Do you think it even happens right now?
I'm not really sure what's going on with Paulo Costa. Like, I don't know if he's just a wild man. Like, didn't he just fire his manager and get a new manager?
And he's got $1 million a fight. Do you think that's cap? Like, I don't, as the kids say. Like, I don't know.
Mostly because his record, but not only that, but like I didn't know he was that big of a draw. Like, to like the Diaz, you know.
Yeah, strange, man. Like, well, it's a good thing you fired him just to get that money, I guess.
Yeah.
But I have no idea how true that is. But look, speaking of grappling, Andre, so I saw your grappling match with OSP, a few months back.
Yeah.
Great. I thought that was a great performance. You actually called that Jon Jones after that. Like, have you heard anything since? Or has it just been all kind of radio silence after that?
Nah, I didn't. I don't. Well, you know, he was his manager. He reached out to the guys at Fury to get on a grappling before. And the story that I was told is that they made him an offer. He said he wanted, they offered him X, he wanted Y. They agreed to pay him Y, and then he came back again and said, whoa, wait, I want X plus Y. Or he wanted even more. Yeah, and so at that point they said, nah, never mind.
Man, so help me balance here, because he was a junior college.
That was just to grapple. That wasn't against me. Yeah. I wish.
So your guy coming in with 97 victories in NCAA D1 wrestling. He was a junior college wrestling champion, but he's a heavyweight. Like, like, help me balance here of like, with the heavyweight advantage, is it almost equal, or even with your D1 acumen, are you way ahead against Jon Jones?
I'm gonna be honest. I saw him in Atlanta. When he was cornering Maurice Green. I was out there cornering one of my teammates, and he, to me, seems way bigger than OSP.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't think, like, OSP was bigger than me, obviously. He's a 5-pounder. But, like, he wasn't too big. If you watch the match, like, obviously he wasn't too big. Jon seems big. Just to be honest. Like, he looks big. He looks, like, not that small compared to Francis. Like, yeah those are big boys.
That's the kind of common thing, that I hear from. I've spoken to other people that have met Jon Jones face to face, and they go, "He is so much bigger in real life." Like you meet him in real life, you're like,
well, dude, I remember watching him fight Cormier the last fight, and Jon took up like 3/4 of the TV, and Cormier was like a quarter of it. Like, he just looked so much bigger than Cormier.
Yeah. Cormier probably could have gone to middleweight, honestly. I don't know.
Well, when he wrestled at
yeah, he was way down there like that. But that's what got him in trouble, was cutting weight in Beijing, right?
I'm gonna look it up real quick.
Oh, no.
Someone else can look it up. I'm not gonna fuck this up.
Don't even worry about it. Yeah. But yeah, Cormier got in trouble because he was trying to cut so much weight, and that was in 2008 when he was like captain of the U.S. team. And I don't have to tell you this.
His kidney shut down or something like that. He almost died, in fact.
Yeah,
I think they're
2008 Olympics.
3.
Damn, yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
But yeah, one guy who Jon Jones did grapple a while back got booked for a fight. Sean Strickland will be fighting for the strap against Israel Adesanya. How do you see the matchup? How do you see it playing out? How do you think you square up against these bad boys as well?
I mean, people like, obviously Adesanya's strength is not wrestling or grappling, right? So I love that, with Sean, like, everyone, like, people say, oh, he's such a good takedown defense percentage. His takedown defense rate is so high. But, like, I really, like, he stands real tall with that boxing stance. Like, honestly, I don't see him being able to defend my takedowns from that stance.
Yeah, fair enough, man.
You, like, physics, you can't drop your level that quickly.
What would you have been more excited to see, like Dricus du Plessis or Sean Strickland going up against the champion? No, as in just the actual title fight.
For a second. I'm like curious about du Plessis. Like, I wanted to fight him after he beat Darren Till. I was like, God, this dude is just so, like, his style is just so ugly. Like, he doesn't look technically good at all. It's, like, hard to watch. I'm like, this dude sucks. But then he just keeps winning. It's like, what the fuck? Like, I mean, look, I don't think Derek Brunson or Darren Till was any stretch at their peak, or like those are guys that were obviously on the decline in their career.
Yeah.
And Brad Tavares too. Like, those are 3 fights where, like if they offer me, I'd be like, yes, 100%, give me those fights. But Whitaker, even though he's like on the decline, was still, like, I was surprised he beat Whitaker.
Yeah.
I was. What type of damage he took in those Yoel Romero fights, but, like, yeah, I don't know. I didn't think he was going to beat Whitaker, so I am curious. Like, if he beats Adesanya, I'll just be like, holy shit, what is going on here? Let me get this title fight.
Well, Luke Thomas did a really good breakdown of Dricus du Plessis' game plan. He had a really good high guard, and what he noticed is Robert Whitaker, when he blitzes in, he normally goes for the head. So du Plessis' defense here in that whole, I've watched it a couple of times. I'm like, he's actually a smart fighter. He just fights very awkward, man.
Yeah.
And that's why people kind of completely, they just underestimate him.
Yeah.
Really.
But look, I've heard that his grappling is actually, like, really good.
Yeah, definitely. And that is where Izzy's weak at, which is
Yeah.
He's going to probably excel. But look, I'm going to change gears a little bit, Andre, because we asked this question to a lot of our guests. We just generally about anxiety. Some fighters, they get anxiety before coming into a fight. Some just classically say, I don't get any anxiety. It's just fight. Do you get anxiety before a fight, and how do you deal with it, generally speaking?
Yeah, absolutely. I talk to God a lot, especially leading up to a fight. I'm big on like journaling. So like I'll write down like a lot of stuff that, that I've picked up or thoughts that I've had throughout camp. And then sometimes like when it gets close to the fight, I'll go back and read some of that stuff. I'm big on like journal and prayer. Those are the things that have helped me. I've also competed since I was 4 years old too. So I do have a little bit of an advantage as far as competition goes. Just because, and I try to stay active with competition. Like if you take years off, it certainly, it doesn't help for getting in a rhythm. Like the more I fight, the more I get into a rhythm.
Man, I think you're so obviously competitive here too. And like competing since you were 4 years old, you've got nearly 100 wins in NCAA D1 wrestling. What kind of attitude, what kind of mental state are you in? Do you maintain to have that kind of championship mindset just in day-to-day life since you were 4 years old?
Yeah, I just think it's like staying on an even keel is important. Not getting like too high, not getting too low. Like not only is the sport and the career a marathon, but like the fight is a marathon. Like the fight's not a sprint really, like 15 minutes. That was early in my career. I took every fight as like a sprint. Like how fast can I get to finish, right? And now it's more of like, learning how to manage the rounds, win a fight. Like Floyd's the best at it. Like he'll literally win 30 seconds of a round, and then he'll do that for 10 rounds,
But one thing about your career that's always impressed me is that you've had some day one people in your corner throughout. Some people who have been pillars of your career. So I want to know, shout out here, what America's Pie? If I'm in the region, tell me all about this. What is this?
All right, so America's Pie, they have 2 locations now. Well, actually, they're more. For the first one was in Westchester. It's a pizza place, but like they specialize in like custom sandwiches. Like they'll have like flank steak sandwiches, like special buffalo chicken sandwiches with chicken tenders. Like they do like special, phenomenal food, great food. Then they opened another one in Essington, which is right by the airport. So if you ever have a layover at the airport, that's a quick ride. Or honestly, you could probably walk there or order delivery, and phenomenal. And now they just got into Lincoln Financial Field, so they have a stand at all the games.
Oh, when you said Lincoln Financial Field, I just heard Financial Field, and I was like, what? That's quite a leap.
No, so that's where that's like the Phillies stadium, yeah. So yeah. I mean, they've been with me since my first ever amateur fight. I actually used to work for them. I was like a delivery driver when I was younger. So they've helped me since day one. Yeah. So shout out to America's Pie.
Man, awesome stuff, man. I'll check it out next time I'm in the region. But okay, tell me a little bit about, I know that you were a fan of Seinfeld, The Simpsons growing up. What is the number one show of all time in your mind?
Number one show? Oh, man, that's a good one. Man, I would have to say Vikings.
No way.
Yeah.
All right.
I've rewatched it like leading up to fights. Like I've rewatched the entire season like at least 2 or 3 times.
The whole show, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah, the entire show, like first episode of season 1 till like 7th season. Yeah.
I think it's better than Game of Thrones. Honestly, I know it's kind of different, but
Game of Thrones is a lot more difficult to follow. Like I got way more out of Game of Thrones the second time I watched it than the first. But I also liked Last Kingdom a lot too.
I haven't seen that. I heard that's very similar to Vikings.
Third season of Last Kingdom is one of my favorite. I would put it up there with Vikings.
Wow.
Yeah,
I gotta watch that, man. Yeah, Vikings is very good. Like I just feel like that's extremely underrated. Like,
Yeah,
that
I
no
got
one's talking
our
about it.
tattoo.
Do you? Oh my god, you actually do. You got a Ragnar. That's crazy. Got a
Yeah.
Ragnar tattoo.
Yeah.
Don't you find it crazy? He was only in there for like 3 seasons, and then people like he's still like the most iconic part of the whole TV show.
Yeah, my buddy Junior did that. One of my coach's brothers. He's got his own studio. It's called Ink Life Studios, but he does really good portrait work. Yeah, shout out to Junior.
That's awesome stuff. Did you ever play Assassin's Creed Black Flag? Like, did you ever play the pirate games?
No, not really. My brother played Assassin. Yeah, no.
Were you a video game player growing up? Was that one of your things?
My brother got the Nintendo, but never got into like PlayStation. So we would play like Super Mario Bros, Super Mario Kart, those type games. I think we had a Wii too at one point.
Back in the day, you were too busy wrestling and delivering pizza.
My dad was crazy. He would never let us play. Like if we were inside playing video games, he'd be like, "Go out." Like we had a pretty good neighborhood. So, yeah, he'd be like, "Go outside or go lift weights or something."
So you're a father now. Do you sometimes say things with your father's voice and you go, "Oh man"?
My dad.
But it's funny. Like I go back and forth. Like. Well, me and my dad had like an interesting relationship. He was my trainer my whole life, and he was really tough on me. But he was a good coach. But he was tough on me. So, but then like once I got to the age where I got a little bit older and tougher or whatever, so then he wasn't my coach anymore. I started wrestling in college or whatever. But long story short, so. When I had my daughter, and I was like, "Oh, how could you ever treat a kid like this?" Granted, I have a daughter; it's not a son, and I'd be mad at him. And now as she gets older, I like start to realize like how like I can appreciate some areas of his parenting. Like man, this man like never ever let me have a piece of candy. Like he was like.
Wow.
Yeah, he was like,
that's so cool.
Really, like didn't have a problem being the bad guy.
Yeah.
And I sometimes struggle with that. Like, I have a daughter. She's like, "Daddy, I love you. I love you." You know what I mean? I'm like, "All right, just eat the candy." Like, you're like, "You want to stay up at night?" Like, okay, yeah. So in that aspect, I'm like, "Oh, he was good." Like, yeah.
Awesome. What kind of music are you into, Andre? Like, are you a big music fan? I mean, what gets you pumped up, in training or just before a fight?
You ever heard the Big Booty mixes?
No. What's this? Tell me everything.
Well, I'm gonna Google that right now.
It's all right. You gotta look them up. There are 23 of them. 23.
My two friends. What is this?
Yup. Dude, they're my favorite. I'll put them on, then you don't have to fuck with the playlist the whole time, but they're the best. They're the best playlist. They're my favorite. They actually came to Atlantic City a couple weeks ago or a month or two ago, and I missed them, but yeah, they're the best. Mashups. Yeah.
Man, are they like rap or something? What is it?
It's like pop, rap, and they mix it into one big like they'll rip like the best 30 seconds of each song, and then it's like, have you ever heard of mashups?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of like mashups, but they're good.
Oh, gotcha. This is like, I got a wedding upcoming next year. I think that might just put on a big booty mix for the wedding.
Best, but they have good, like it's mostly like EDM. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
But they'll take pop songs and add like an EDM like aspect to it, like a beat to it. Yeah.
Nice. Favorite movie of all time, Andre?
Fuck. Pick one. It used to be Lion King, but I'm gonna be honest. Like Man on Fire. Have you ever seen Man on Fire with that?
Bro, come on.
My favorite.
It's got the best lines ever in that movie, ever of all time. It's awesome movies.
But like, how can you compare that to a comedy? So like, Step Brothers is I think that's hilarious.
That's hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought Step Brothers was great. I don't know how you could compare the two though.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think that was probably Denzel Washington's last really great movie.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was kind of just, just plateaued a little bit.
That was before Training Day.
No, it was after 2004. Oh. Yeah, Man on Fire was like 04 or something. But,
yeah, that's a good one.
Rounding out, we do movies, do video games, cover off some music. Now, I saw that you had read a book, and this book was recommended to me as well, but I'm not an expert. I don't know much about it. I think it's the 33 Strategies of War. What is this? What's that about?
I think I did read that. I think I have the audio book. I'm gonna be honest, I forget now.
Hey, that's why we don't do these interviews live. We can cut that right out of here. Don't even worry about it.
Where did you read that, though?
I can't tell you how I find these things out. I cannot tell you that. It would ruin it.
Of War. I'm thinking, I think I have it mixed up. Have you ever heard of the Book of Five Rings?
I have, yes. Miyamai, I can't, fuck that, the pronunciation, but yeah, that guy.
The 33 Strategies of War. I don't remember that one.
Well, I can check that out.
But yeah, tell me about the five rings, because I remember another fighter was talking about this as well. Okay, what is this about?
So this guy was like a samurai, and he was like, he just couldn't lose. Like, it was in one-on-one sword battles. Like, he was the best. Like, and he got so good. He had killed so many people. This is in Japan. He had like 250 victories in one-on-one battle that he just started, and he was so confident, he was so unbeatable that he started playing with like sticks and staffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because he was like, I don't think it's right for me to just keep killing people.
Yeah, and the legend goes,
but he talks about like his mindset, his strategy, the technical aspect. It was pretty cool.
I mean, the legend goes, the last fight, he traumatized himself because he killed the guy so viciously as well. And then he just goes, I'm completely done now. I want to just have our own school. But yeah, I need to fully read that book.
Yeah. That was a good one.
All right, now be entirely honest. I brought it up earlier. We were flirting with the idea. Tell me how you actually keep your beard so tidy. What's the secret here? What is your game plan here?
I think it's just genetics, honestly.
No. No product.
No, nothing. If I have like a wedding or something, like I would put like maybe like a little bit of beard oil in it.
Yeah.
I have like a beard wash that I use in the shower, but besides that, nothing. It's all genetics, baby.
It looks good, man. It's looking real good, man. That's a nice looking beard.
Russian roots.
That's absolutely right. All right. Looking into the future, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, how do you see yourself? How do you envision yourself?
5 years from now, I'm defending the belt 100%. I'm defending the title, breaking records, cementing the legacy, probably finishing up in 5 years. The career's winding down. We're looking for exit strategy.
Really? Wow. Yeah. I mean, you'd only be 37, right? I mean, that's not that old, is it?
Nah, but I mean, I'm gonna have kids. You know what I mean? I have a daughter.
Fair enough, man.
You don't want to fight into your 40s. I'm not Yoel Romero, that's for sure. You know?
That's awesome,
but yeah, you were doing some commentary, I think, in the past. Is that something you would want to do in the future? Maybe when things are wrapping up, 5 years from now, something like that?
Absolutely. I commentate for CFFC when CM Punk is out. I fill in for him. I've probably done it about 4 or 5, probably about 5 or 6 shows. So I just did one last weekend in Mississippi. I like it. I enjoy it.
Punk is actually quite a good MC on the mic too. But my favorite thing about Punk is that when people bring him up, I don't know him from his wrestling days, so I'm just like, oh, the CFFC commentator, world famous. Everyone knows this guy, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, we've taken enough of your time, sir. I really appreciate it, taking time out of the training with the big fight coming up in the next few weeks here. You're going to be fighting Gerald Meerschaert at UFC 292 on August 19th. Now, you talk us on out of here. You get the last word. Shout out who you need to shout out. Thank who you need to thank. All that good stuff, sir.
Yeah, it's just shout out to all my sponsors, my teammates, coaches, family. Definitely tune in August 19th, TD Garden in Boston, UFC 292.
Thanks so much for your time and best of luck, eh?
See you guys.
Thanks, Andre.